Hi everyone, welcome to another Guru interview. I'm really pleased to take a bit of a different tack this month. With me is Mark Lewis from WeatherSafe WA. Now Mark, welcome to the call.
Hi Steve, how you going bud?
Yeah, Mark, thanks very much for your time. Look, I just want to let everyone know the reason I'm excited about this is that, as you would all know, I have on the, as part of the program, a lot of big name speakers from overseas, big names, within the industry, and they are valuable, and I'm so grateful for their time. But this month we've got a real live, true blue Aussie business owner who's learnt the skills of direct response marketing, and he's going to share with you what that's meant to him and how that's changed his business. So we're going deep down into the trenches. We're getting it straight from the horse's mouth of someone that, as a fellow business owner, you can relate to. So, like I said, I'm really excited, and I just can't wait to hear what Mark's got to say, because he is doing really, really well in his business. And might I add, he had to take a few minutes out just to lend us his time, because he is so busy in his business. So, Mark, well done on being busy, and it's great to have you here.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks. Look, the things that I've learnt over the last couple of years have really changed my business, so happy to share, mate.
All right, fantastic. Now, look, just to give you a bit of background on Mark's business, it's WeatherSafe WA, so he's based in Bunbury, which is south of Perth, and he employs 15 staff. He manufactures and sells outdoor shade sails, so I guess everything from things that you see, the big shade sails you see that go on bus shelters and that the council puts up, to those curtains that restaurants have to keep out the wind and the cold in the winter and so forth, to shade sails for homes, to covers for boats, to just about anything that's to keep any part of the weather out. Mark Lewis from WeatherSafe WA is your go-to guy. Now, Mark, you've gone through quite a journey and a transition in your business, haven't you? Now, I've probably left out one or two key things there, just to give us a little bit of background about what you do. Have I left out anything there you'd like the folks to know about?
Well, not really, Steve. We manufacture and supply just all types of products that protect you from the sun, wind and rain, basically. So not only shade sails and blinds and awnings, but also tarpaulins and covers for the agricultural, mining, transport, marine, handyman, cafes, restaurants, taverns. So it's basically, I guess, all our products are all about just being able to use your outdoor areas and protect your equipment all year round, so that you can use them all year round when the weather sometimes doesn't let you do it.
Yeah, great. And look, as I said at the start, the key thing for me here is that if I put this in inverted commas, you're a normal guy in a normal business, but you're someone who's taken the time to learn the skills of copywriting and direct response marketing. And I know the folks listening are really keen to hear your insights, because it's an area that's, if people can just improve by a small amount, it can make such a huge difference to their bottom line. And that's probably an experience you've found, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about being normal, mate, but
yeah, well, it was in inverted commas, in speech marks. Yeah, thanks for picking me up on that. You're dead right.
Okay, mate. So basically, why did I learn copywriting? Well, I've been in business for a long, long time. I took over the family business, and a few years ago, I bought the business off of my dad, and so it's my baby now. And as much as I was running the show when Dad was around, when it's your own, you got to have a different slant on things and go, bloody hell, I've got to make this work. So I took a whole different slant. I looked out there to see what was out there to help me run my business, and I came up with a couple of different things. I discovered Mal Emery, and through Mal Emery I discovered you, and I changed myself from being a guy working in a job to being a marketer and using my business as a vehicle for my marketing. So I think that was possibly the biggest change that I got in my head. Another big thing that I did was change the name of my business. Now, our business, Dad's business was going since 1975, and I took over 3 years ago and changed the name. Now, that was a really big change, because in Bunbury, in our little area, everybody knew Delray, and that was the name of our business. We were called Delray Canvas Australia, and everybody knew what we did and what we stood for. And one day I was at a gig, one of Mal's gigs, and we were talking about branding and naming your business, and Mal said that the best business name is a name that either says exactly what you do, i.e. Bob's Auto Electrician, or it conjures up an image of what you do. And then bloody Mal, he looked straight at me, walked straight over to me in a room of 200 people and said, "So Mark, what's a Delray?" And I instantly shit myself, and because I had no answer, you know. So that was when we decided to look at a better name that conjured up an image of what we did, and so we came up with WeatherSafe.
All right, fantastic. Mark, I just want to pick up on pardon me, on one thing you said there. You changed from being, I guess, a doer of the business, I'm paraphrasing your words here, to being a marketer of your business. Now, that's not necessarily a massive, physical kind of shift. It's more of a shift inside your mind, isn't it, in the way you approach things? Oh,
absolutely, mate, absolutely. All I was worried about was paying the staff and doing the jobs, whereas what you really need to concentrate on is getting the jobs in the door. Now, we did a bit of advertising, and we did... basically, that was it. We just did advertising, so and relied on our name and our expertise and the fact that people knew us to get us in the door. Now, that's fine when things are going really, really well and the economy's buoyant and people have got loads of money, but when things start to slow down, people start putting they're pulling their hands out of their pockets, then you need to have some way of getting that disproportionate share of the market out there. And it dawned on me, and it took a little while. You know, I was probably with Mal for a good 12 months before it finally clicked and said, yeah, actually, you've got to be a marketer. So, as I said before, I'm now using my business as the vehicle for my marketing, and everything that I do and think about is how do I market my business? How do I get my message out to the people out there and make us the logical choice for whenever they want one of our products?
Yeah, look, it's really interesting. I wonder too, Mark, whether there's a bit of a mental blockage there for some people. You know, I don't want to be a marketer. I'm just, and then fill in the blank, a tradie, accountant, whatever it might be. What do you say to that line of thinking?
Well, I mean, you will never get anywhere further than where you are if that's your mentality, because your business won't grow. You need to get your message out to the punters out there so that you're the people they go to whenever you want something. So I do extensive advertising and marketing, and you know, marketing is more than advertising. But every opportunity that I have to promote my business and get my name out there in front of customers so that I'm top of mind whenever they're thinking about buying one of my products over one of my competitors is the mindset that I've got now, rather than let's pump out this shade sale, or let's just do the jobs.
Excellent. Can you give us a couple of 3, 4, 5, 6 examples of how you get your name out there? Now, obviously the most visible one is an ad in your local newspaper, but that's not necessarily what you're talking about, and not exclusively what you're talking about, is it? Oh, absolutely not. I mean, I hardly ever put ads in the newspaper, and when I do, they're a special kind of ad. They're not your pretty frilly ads. They're an ad that calls people to action to actually do something. But like I said, I hardly ever advertise in the paper, and I see my competitors advertising in the paper the whole time. My biggest part of marketing is direct marketing, Steve. It's trying to work out who my customers are, and then sending out written paraphernalia to those people to introduce who we are and to tell them that we've got the products that they need. So
I do that in a lot of ways, just with a lot of research. But, these days it's direct marketing that works better than advertising, I've found.
It's an interesting distinction. You're not advertising, you're direct marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do a lot of advertising, but I get my best results from when you how do you say, you enter the conversation that's going on inside of a punter's head and go, okay, that's what's going on in their brain. Let's convince them to buy from me, and then target directly at them.
Yeah. Any other? I mean, that's a really big one. I mean, you're not just using a scattergun approach. It's more targeted. I dare say it's much better use of your time, effort, and money as well. What are some of the other things that you do as a marketer then of your business, Mark?
The best marketing tool that I've got, Steve, is a newsletter. We send out a newsletter every 3 months, and we coincide with the beginning of every season, because that's congruent with our message. We're all about weather protection, so we send out a newsletter at the beginning of summer, winter, autumn, and spring.
Yeah, nice. So things, I'm guessing, like, summer's coming up, you want to beat the heat, or, winter's just around the corner, you still want to be able to enjoy the outdoors, that sort of stuff? Absolutely.
So everything is congruent with the season that we're in, and it's called the Weather Report. It's a gorgeous, I got to say, a gorgeous 8-page glossy, beautifully printed and typeset newsletter that I outsource. I write all the articles and everything that goes in it, but I outsource it to a couple of guys who then typeset it for me, and then they send it back to me. We go backwards and forwards a couple of times, and then when I'm happy with it, I send it off to the printers, and then I send it out to my list. I also have a wad of them on the front counter, so anybody that walks in the door, the girls at the front office just hand it straight to them. And of course, my salesman, whenever he goes out to do a call, first thing he does is gives them a newsletter, and it's a professional-looking little document, and it really blows the customers away. And Steve, I tell you what, every time that we send out our newsletter, the phones ring off the hook for about a good 2 weeks afterwards, and people always mention the newsletter. And a lot of my marketing colleagues say, well, why don't you bring it out, every month? Because a lot of people that are doing newsletters bring them out every month. But I like the fact that we're staying congruent with our seasons, and I don't believe that you should be in everyone's face all the time, so I think that people are starting to look forward to seeing the weather report every 3 months.
Yeah, nice stuff. I was actually going to ask you, do you see a direct bump in inquiry and sales and so forth? But you answered that. So look, there's a potentially, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars takeaway right there, newsletter. And the danger there is, look, that won't work for my business or my crowds. What do you say to that line of thinking?
Oh, well, no, it works for everyone, mate. Seriously, it just works. Newsletters just work, and we have little competitions, and I can really gauge by the follow up of our competitions how many people are reading it, and it's not all about us, I put in some recipes and some things to do and some jokes and stuff like that, so that it becomes something that people actually read. But look, what I don't do, and I should do, is I don't actually have, and I haven't, since I've been doing it, put in an offer and said, this newsletter's offer is this. And I've thought about it, and I thought, no, this is just about me having a relationship, a real non-threatening relationship with my client base. And so that's why I don't put in an offer. But I do put in a lot of stuff that we have done. Now, because we do so many different products, a person who may have bought a blind off of me may not know that we do a ute canopy, or they may not know that we actually do shade sales. So by just saying, hey, we did this job here, and there's a picture of Mr. Smith with his lovely ute canopy and stuff like that, it just gives all of my clients the opportunity to know all the products that we do make. And, back they come and they get something different, and it's a dead set winner. Dead set winner. If you do no other advertising or marketing, just do a newsletter.
Yeah, great stuff, Mark. You're following that old marketing copywriting adage of it's easier to sell to someone who's already bought off you than it is to sell to someone brand new. So, look, that's great stuff. And it's quite an interesting take that you've got there in that you are selling, but you are selling very indirectly. Like you say, you're not there all the time. You're not there shoving the latest, greatest offer in someone's face. It's more of a relationship kind of marketing, and for you, it's very successful.
Absolutely, and see, our stuff, you come and buy something from me, then, 9 times out of 10 you're spending more than $1,000 with me. So it's not like you're coming and seeing me every month. So when you do want to come and get something, we're top of mind. So, I might not see people for years, but they still get the newsletter, and then blow me down, 5 years' time they're back to either get something new or get a repair or just to enter a competition. So they always know that we're there.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, now, look, you did promise me when we were talking off air that you'd give us a few gold nuggets of, some of the best things you've learnt about copywriting. So have you got some gold nuggets there for our listeners, Mark?
Well, for copywriting, yes. And the reason why I decided that I needed to do a bit of copywriting is because these days the punter out there is pretty well informed, excuse me. So what you need to do is portray yourself as the expert. And the way that we portray ourselves as the expert is that we've got the reports and guides and how-tos and how to look after your stuff and all that sort of jazz. And I put that out there so we'll go and do a measure or a quote for some blinds or for some shade sales or whatever. I'm thinking about sort of the domestic market at the moment. And we'll slip the customer a free report on the technical things to look for in a shade sale, or the mistakes that people make when they're buying blinds. And we basically spell it out, how we do it, why we do it, the materials that we use, the benefits that the customer's going to get, and so my shade sale report is, I think, about 25 pages long. It would be 24 pages long, I think. So what happens is that you go in there, you display a professional attitude, you give the customer a professional-looking document that tells you exactly what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. And then the customer perceives you as being the expert. And at the end of the day, if you're being perceived as the expert, why would they go anywhere else? Why would they go with the other punter or the competition who just walks in there with his pad and pencil and he's got his thongs on and writes out a one-page quote and says, rightio, there you go, you want to go ahead, come on, what about it? If you give me your order today, I'll knock off $50 type thing.
Yeah.
So what we do is we go back, we write a professional quote, we give the customer a couple of days to stew on it, and they read our reports and go, okay, these guys really know what they're doing, they're talking about. So that is the reason why I decided to do a couple of courses on copywriting, so that I could become better at telling the people why they should buy quality and what they should look out for, and subliminally, of course, that makes them think, well, why they should buy from WeatherSafe WA. Yeah,
well, you're becoming the trusted expert, not the pushy salesman, so you've flipped that whole relationship around, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And look, Steve, there's always going to be the punter out there who's going to go for the cheapest price. And look, those cheap price chasers are probably the customers that we don't want anyway. They're going to end up being a pain in the arse, and I may as well let my opposition have those, and we want only the good guys.
Yeah, nice. That's a lovely distinction. Mark, if I can just interrupt you there. Look, one of the biggest objections I hear is some version of this. Look, I understand how important it is, but I just don't have time to learn copywriting, direct response marketing, all those sorts of things. How do you respond to that? Because I know that's front and centre of many people's minds.
I respond to that with a classic line that is the same as anything that you say. What if I was to train my staff up to speed to being really good, and they left? And my answer to that was what if you don't train your staff and they stay? So the argument I'm saying is that if I think that you're going to be in business for a long time, you should be continually educating yourself, because if you don't, you're quite possibly going to be out of work. So, it does take time to study this, and it takes money, and it does, all of those things, but it's a bit of short-term pain for long-term gain. I read lots, and I advocate joining and subscribing to lots of different things, because I think that you just continually need to be better than the opposition, and you're not going to be better than the opposition by standing still. The old saying, Steve, what happens if you do nothing? Nothing. So, you can use that as an excuse for as long as you like, but there's always plenty of hours in the day if you're prepared to find them to better yourself.
Yeah, great advice, Mark. And look, let me ask you this as well. Has any of that money you've invested in learning copywriting, marketing and so forth, has that ever been wasted money?
Oh, no. I could never say that I've wasted money. I've spent far too much, of course. But, I've spent money on... I have wasted money on... I'll tell you what I have wasted money on, those bloody get-rich-quick schemes. Every time you think you buy something that's too good to be true, it's bloody too good to be true. And I'm the first person to admit that I've bought a few of those. There's my dog barking. Hang on.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Sorry, mate.
No, you're okay.
Before I started this. Sorry, Mark, to interrupt you. The interesting thing, though, is even though you're busy as hell, you're at home working from home. You're not actually at the office or out on the tools. So being in the position where you're in the position where you are, thanks in part at least to learning copywriting and marketing. So, I mean, it's a dog in the background barking. Is great proof in action there. I work from home every Tuesday.
Yep.
I work from home every Tuesday because when I'm at work, I get too many interferences. So my staff all know that every Tuesday I'm at home, and it's a great day to actually work on the business. And look, that's another thing that everybody that owns a business should try and do, is spend time to work on the business. And that's what being a marketer is about. You're actually working on the business, not getting caught up in the day-to-day running and physically on the tools. Now, we are so busy at the moment that my guys out in the factory have asked me to come out and do a bit of work on the tools, and that's fine. It's good as a business owner that I can actually get out there and get on the tools. And the actual good thing about that is that my staff probably respect me more because they know that I'm prepared to get down and get dirty. But for me, it's having the time to work on the business, to work on the marketing, to work on the procedures and all those sorts of things that make my business run just that little bit better. That is more important. So you don't have to do it all the time, but at least some of the time. Some people have told me, some of my mentors out there, that you need to be working on your business at least 10% of the time, and I reckon that's not enough. I reckon take a day or chunk out a couple of hours every day and lock yourself away and physically work on the business, on the way your business runs and on the way that you do your marketing. And, these guys, your workers will do without you. I mean, our problem as business owners and entrepreneurs is that we think that we can't be done without, but it's quite the contrary. You know, my guys love it when I'm not at work. They get on with it.
All right, great stuff, Mark, and it's great advice too for everyone listening. Pardon me. What about some other? Have you got any other nuggets there that you want to run through and share?
Okay, well, you actually asked me to come up with 5 recommendations, so I made a list of 5 recommendations. So I've got it here, and I'll just put my glasses on. Give me a sec. And we've gone through a couple of them, but number 1 was to think like a marketer and not just a business owner or a tradie. So I'll always be thinking about how I can get more business. And as a marketer, I always find out where my customer found me, and I document that so that I know what's working and I know what's not working. You know, there's that old saying that people say, I reckon about 50% of my advertising is working. I just don't know which 50%.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you should know exactly how your advertising and your return on spending and all that sort of jazz is working. So we document every person that walks in the door. We ask them how they heard of Weather Safe WA. So that, and then we put that into a spreadsheet, and we analyse it every so often, and just to keep us up to date with exactly where our customers are coming from. Now, if in the last 3 months I've had 5 people come to me out of the yellow pages, I've had 55 people come because they've heard the radio, and I've had 250 referrals, and it's an absolute no-brainer where I need to be spending more money. I spend more money on referrals, and I'll use the money from the yellow pages to use on that money. Why waste my time on 5 people in 3 months that have come from the yellow pages? Now, I'm not saying those are exact stats, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, just on that, Mark, and this might be a pointer to other businesses too, as they're starting out and learning more of this marketing and copywriting sort of stuff. Does everything you do work, firstly, and then how do you react when something doesn't work?
No, not everything works. I've done some abject failures. We did a postcard thing, and what I did was I gave everybody some postcards, and I said, rightio, and I gave them, each one had a unique number, and I said, go and hand these postcards out. Whenever you see a patio that hasn't got blinds on or anything like that, just drop one of these postcards in the mailbox, or tie it. I put a little hole in it and gave them some strings. I said, well, or just tie it to the letterbox, just so that, you know, you stand out from all the clutter. Didn't work. Did not work. We got one response out of, I think we got about 1,000 of them out there.
Wow. Yep.
So, it didn't work, mate. So we dumped it and moved on to the next thing. I mean...
Now, does that annoy you and get down, this stuff doesn't work then? Like, how do you respond to that? Because that's
don't get down in the dump. I go, well, I look at it completely the other way and say, well, that didn't work. Now let's try something new. I mean, there's plenty of ways out there, and I over the years have learnt from different people, different methods of doing things, and you know, there's millions of resources online that you can just look up and you can get different ideas of how to market out to your customers. So, move on to the next one. Let's try something different. That didn't work. Let's do something different.
Fantastic. Yeah. So keep going.
Yeah. For years, I have I've resisted Facebook, because I'm not a Facebook person myself, but I've resisted it, and you know, my take on Facebook is that there's only so many times that I can see what someone had for lunch before I get bored with what's going on, and there's only so many motivational, flowery pictures I can put up with. So I've resisted it. Anyway, my new PA, she's big on Facebook. And so we've got a Facebook page up and running, and we've got lots of likes are starting to happen. So everybody out there go and like my Facebook page, because we've got a few prizes to give away if you do. But yeah, that's something new that we're going to try now. You know, for everything that doesn't work, there's always half a dozen other things out there that you can have a crack at, mate.
All right, fantastic. So where were we up to, Mark? You said 5 things.
So, I'm still on number one, being a marketer. Where are we? Read lots of marketing, business, leadership, and motivational books, and subscribe to other marketers' websites and subscriptions. So, I just firmly believe that you just keep being a marketer. My kids jump in my car and they listen to my CDs, which are, you know, marketing CDs and motivational CDs, and you know, they absolutely give me grief. Occasionally there's a good one that they'll like, but you know, I've always got a CD on the car, and I'm always reading a marketing book or a business book or a motivational book. So I just say to everybody, keep your education going, and it just keeps your mind going.
Yeah, great stuff, and allows you to have that forward momentum.
Yep, well. Yep. And look, you know, I read to my kids every night. At the moment, we're reading Harry Potter, so and I love that. So that's my fiction, is when I read to the kids, and when I read to myself, it's all non-fiction learning stuff. So I haven't read a non-fiction just to myself since I read a couple of sci-fi books. I like my sci-fi, so I'll read a couple of those. And as well as that, I keep a swipe file, Steve. Now, you would have told everybody about swipe files. So I keep all the good stuff that I see, and I also keep a lot of bad stuff, because I love to analyse other people's marketing. And I copy what's good, and I make a point of what's bad. So, and I use that in my own marketing all the time.
All right, fantastic. So just to recap, Mark, where your number one was become a marketer of your business, not a doer of your business. Number two was just to keep reading, keep educating, keep motivating yourself. Number three was keep a swipe file.
No, that's all part about being a marketer, mate.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
I'm still on number one.
Oh, excellent. Love it. Keep going.
Okay, into number two.
Yeah, well, we can just edit that bit out. It's all right.
Yeah, right. Number two.
Recorded live and raw, so that we get all the best parts. Fantastic, Mark. Hook into it.
Number two is always present a professional appearance. So I've got an office where, or a factory. You know, I've got an office at the front of the factory, and people. If they don't ring in and request for someone to go out and see them, they often come into the office. So I make sure that my office and my staff and my web page and my vehicles and everything is very professional and up to date and clean and tidy. One of the good selling points for me as a brick and mortar business is that people come into my offices, and we intentionally take them out the back to our factory and let them have a look and see, you know, that their product actually gets made on the premise and how it looks, and they see the staff out the back working, and that sort of works for us as well.
Yeah, nice. It's not cheap imported stuff. It's real.
Yeah, and it's made right here in Bunbury. You know, a lot of our competitors, all of our competitors virtually, all their stuff is made, you know, up in the metro area and imported down, and they're just agents in Bunbury. So it's another sort of sale point for us. So anybody that's manufacturing out there, don't be scared to show the punter or your prospect that, you know, this is where we make the stuff, and people are really, really interested in that.
Yeah, great stuff.
And also professional quotes, and make sure that they're comprehensive and professionally done. I think that people underestimate the power of a good quote, so that always has to be professional.
Yeah,
number three,
Mark,
be in contact with your...
it certainly beats a figure on the back of a business card handed over quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Be in contact with your past and present customers constantly. So we've sort of touched on that. Always use more than one medium. We use newsletters, direct marketing. I've got radio ads, TV ads, my online web pages. I've got several web pages. A good thing about web pages is a bit like your name. Try as hard as you can in your URL to say exactly what you do. I've got Weather Safe WA, obviously, as a web page, but I've also got a web page which is patioblindsbunbury.com. I've also got shadesalesbunbury.com. I've also got shadesaleshade.com, and a couple other things, because that really helps with your SEO, and also it's what people look up. So that helps. We're on YouTube. I've got a YouTube page. On Facebook, I sponsor a couple of kids, and just lots of little things.
And you do most of that copy, most of the words yourself too, for a large majority of that, don't you?
All of it.
Yeah.
I do all the copy, mate, because the reason why I do all the copy is because nobody knows my business as well as I do, and other than some of my staff perhaps, I've been in the industry since I was a boy. So farming out the copywriting, which I have done, for me became an endless stream of edits, and also, a couple of copywriters, I hate to say it, but a lot of them get sort of hung up on the benefits. Now, we all know that you've got to sell the benefits, but a lot of punters want to know about the technical details and the features these days. So who better to know about not only the benefits but the technical details and the features than the shop owner, the actual guy in the trenches who's doing it. So that's one of the nice
little gold nugget for people there too, copywriters and business owners alike, Mark. That's worth the price of admission alone, that little one.
Cheers, mate. And as I said, the more direct you can be with your clients, the better. The more you are physically talking to your prospect, the better. So we have we get what's called, I don't know if I guess it'll be Australia-wide, but we get the council approvals. So whenever someone needs to buy a patio, or someone wants to build a patio or build a veranda or a pool or something like that, they have to apply to the council. Mm-hmm. Now, when those approvals get approved, the council puts out a list of them. So you can buy from all the different councils a list of the person's name, what they're building, and who's building it from them, and their address. So we target them direct with a well-written letter. We actually send them out a tear sheet first, and you've explained tear sheets before, but I won't go into it, so it's a bit of a mystery. Their friend Jay had sent them this tear sheet thing, and then we follow that up a month or so later if we haven't heard from them, with a series of letters. And like I said, newsletters work for the best.
Yeah, nice.
For us. Number 4, always follow up your quotes. So, as I said, number 1 is to make sure that you do a good, comprehensive and professional quote. But probably the most important thing about sending out a quote, there it goes again, the most important thing about... Sorry, mate.
You're all right.
The most important thing about sending out a quote is to follow it up, and the stats back that up. And I think that most people wait. I know, for up to 3 follow-ups before they buy, and most businesses give up after 1 if they follow up at all. Now, I know that myself. I've often been out to buy something and got a quote and thought, oh yeah, I'll go ahead with that. And I say to myself, oh well, I'll wait and see who follows up, and whoever follows up, I'll probably give them the job. And the amount of times people just don't follow up is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think too, Mark, a big impact on that is that, everyone's busy, so you kind of forget, or you just need reminding, like you say, constantly, contacted, and at the point of sale here with the quote, it's a big, big point. Everyone's busy, we're rushed, there's no time, so it certainly puts you at a big advantage if you're the one following up in the correct manner.
Absolutely, mate. And look, there's plenty of time once you've gone broke. So when you've gone broke because you didn't follow up or you didn't do any of these things and you're sitting there unemployed, then you've got stacks of time and you're thinking to yourself, oh, shit, I wish I'd done a few of those things when I was busy.
Yeah, yeah, nice one.
We have an extensive and documented follow-up system. My girls follow it. It's documented. It's got numbers. It goes from A to B, and then once we've done this, then we do something else a bit later, and we phone our customers. We send them the little letters with lumpy mail and all those sorts of things. We do get to a point where we find out we actually ask for the job, and that's another thing too. Don't be afraid to ask for the job, but we'll ring up our customer normally on the first follow up, and they'll tell you exactly what's going on and whether they're ready to go or whether they do want to go. And then once you've given them that first follow up, we send out a few letters, and then probably. We touch our customers 5 times, and on the 5th time we ask for the job and say, rightio, we do it correctly and politely, but we physically ask for the job and work out from them whether they want to go ahead or not, and they will tell us, and then we file that away. We either get the job or we don't, and then of course we keep sending them newsletters and keep marketing to them until they die.
Yep, and there's that constant contact coming in again. Great stuff, Mark. Number 5.
Number 5, reward and wow your customers. Always blow your customers away with outstanding customer service. I mean, it does not cost any more for you to give good customer service. And that's just all about having procedures in place and making sure that you just do the right thing and, have a happy, smiling face when people walk in the door, or smile when you're on the phone. People can tell, mate. They seriously can tell. And another way to wow your customers is give them something for nothing. We at the end of a job, mainly for our domestic customers, we leave 2 bottles of wine behind with a warranty, how to look after your product sort of thing, and people get home and they see these 2 bottles of wine, or they get the bottles of wine when they're there, and they're totally blown away. When they pay their bill, we send out a little thank you pack that's got a little gift. I try not to spend more than $5 on a gift, and there's plenty of stuff out there that you can spend $5 on. Normally, books or diaries or little things like that we send out. We ask for a testimonial. We have a little questionnaire in this little thank you pack, and we have a stamped self-addressed envelope that encourages people to send everything back. And what happens is the people are wowed about the after sales and the after service. So what happens is that your actual product becomes secondary to these tiny little things that you've done, and people remember that, and all of a sudden they're recommending you to their friends. So something that's low cost but of a high perceived value is really good, mate.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing too there, Mark, you've pretty much nailed one of the keys to success in business is how to get people to pay you money with a smile on their face, and I think you've nailed it.
Great, isn't it? Now, I've got one more. I said 5, but I got 6.
A bonus one is fantastic. Let's hear it.
You've got to have a bonus.
You've got to have a bonus, that's right. You're right on the copywriting button there.
Nothing. Reward and wow. Number 6, get and use testimonials. I could tell you how good WeatherSafe is until the cows come home, mate. It's my favourite subject. but it's just not the same as getting your satisfied customers to tell you how good you are. You know, there's nothing better than having a raving fan for a customer. So we find, as I said, we ask people for testimonials in their little thank you pack that we send them. We've found video testimonials work the best, but they're really hard to get.
Yeah.
We get the written testimonials all the time. People don't mind, and it's only recently that we've been concentrating on the videos. But people turn to water a bit in front of the camera. So what I've found is the best way to get a video testimonial is to put the video just to one side and tell your customer you're going to ask them some questions and get them to answer your questions by repeating the question that you ask. So and it gets them talking. So if I say to them, would you recommend your friends to WeatherSafe WA? They would say, yes, I would recommend my friends to WA because blah, 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 you know. And if you tell your customer that I'm going to ask you these preemptive questions, everything that I ask you, you answer with that question, it puts them at ease. And then if you want to, you can edit them out, but I don't, because I'm not an editor, so I don't.
Well, it gives them a framework, makes them feel comfortable. It's great stuff, Mark.
Yeah. Now, we use our testimonials as much as we can. We use them everywhere, on the web page, on our quotes, in our newsletter, everywhere. Everywhere use quotes because, you know, as I said, I'll tell you as much as you want how good I am, but of course I am. So, it's best coming from the customer. And finally, we use lots of photos. We take lots of photos, but the best photos are where the customer is in the photo using the product. So we often try to get a photo of the punter standing there with a thumbs up and big smile in their face saying, thank you, and all smiles as they're in front of the product that we've just made them. And it just, makes it just that little bit more trustworthy, I could have taken a photo of anything, but when you've got the customer there, thumbs up and smiling, it adds to that trust and once again sort of positions us as the expert.
Yeah, great. Look, that's fantastic. Look, Mark, we're almost out of time. Just one last question to you. Speculate for me. Now, if you didn't learn direct response marketing and adopt a marketing mindset a number of years ago, where would you be now as a business owner?
I wouldn't be as big as I am. I think we probably would have plodded along doing the same old. I would still be Delray. I'd still be aiming at my local audience. I would definitely not have the same sort of presence both online and offline in all my marketing. I remember when I first started to learn about marketing, someone asked me what my back end was, and I said, excuse me, what are you talking about, my back end? And I've since found that, back end is all about following up and keeping in contact with your customers. I would nowhere near have built up the same sort of fan base that we've got, the same amount of clients. And, I send my newsletter out to about 3,000 customers now. And that's, I can probably send it out to more, but I try and keep it fairly relevant and up to date. But I've probably got more than 10,000 people on my database. So I've just evolved as a business owner, and I hate the word entrepreneur, but I guess I'm turning a bit entrepreneurial. But the things that I've learnt, Steve, I can do anywhere. One day I'll sell WeatherSafe WA. I know that, and then I'll move on and try something else. And all the skills that I've learnt there, I'll put into a new venture. So it's been a great evolution for me, and like I said, I'm a marketer now, and it's so much fun, you know.
Yeah.
Going into the $2 shop and having a look for stuff that I can put in mail to get people's attention, and looking at ads in the newspaper and saying, what a load of rubbish, why would anyone go there, and analysing all sorts of things is great fun, I reckon. So it's put a bit more renewed enthusiasm into my business and into me as a businessman. So, and just constantly learning, Steve, just constantly making my brain work, because seriously, I've destroyed a few brain cells over the years with the amount of beer that I've drunk, most of it with you. But it's good to it's good to keep the brain ticking over and learning new stuff. You're never too old to learn, mate.
No, great stuff. Look, what you've actually given us, Mark, really is a masterclass in running and marketing a business. I think you've, in typical Mark Lewis fashion, you've over-delivered. If listeners can't get 4, 5, 6, 7 points that are going to make them a heap of money out of our call today, then they're not really trying. So, Mark, thank you so much. I know how busy you are, and like I said, you've over-delivered. I've got a page and a half of notes. It's just fantastic. I want to thank you. Now, if people want to get in contact with you, Mark, either directly, to talk sales or any of that sort of stuff, what's the best way of contacting you? Obviously, weathersafewa.com.au. Correct.
Or send me an email at markl@weathersafewa.com.au, and I would be happy to share with you a couple of things. I would send anybody who asked for it a copy of my follow-up sheet. So it's just a 2-page document, and it's everything from when they walk in the door to what we write down, all their details, and it's like a set-out template for people to write in their details and where they came from, what they are after. Just quickly, we don't ask people what they want to buy. We ask them what problem they would like to be solved. So that took a bit of time for my staff to get over that. But sometimes people will walk in the door and say, "I want an awning for my window." And we actually turn around and say to them, well, you could probably do with a nice big shade sail out the back here that will not only cover that window, but it will make you this area here a lot better, blah, blah. So rather than saying, I want an awning for my window, they say, oh, well, I want to keep the sun and heat out of my spare bedroom and it's got a window there type thing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So that's the front of this template, and then on the back is my complete follow-up system, which I've just got a list where we tick the box. The girls, so they've got dates and times of when to call back their customers and all those sorts of things. It could be done on electronics, but we do it on a sheet of paper so that we can touch and feel it. And I'd be happy to give that away to anybody who asks for it. And look, I'm always keen to chat about marketing to anybody. So if you just want to send me an email or give me a call and just have a chat, then that's fine.
Yeah, fantastic. So it's weathersafewa on the web.com.au or markl@weathersafewa. And you don't just do the talk, Mark, you actually walk the talk, because there, folks, is an example of the reward and wow factor at play. So, look, we will leave it there. Mark Lewis from weathersafewa. Once again, huge content. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I know everyone listening has got a heap out of this call. So thanks very much, Mark.
You're welcome, Steve. Cheers, mate. Good on you.
Thank you.